All right, here we have Oncehuman version 1.4 update. This is a big one and includes all of the new features in the Lunar Oracle changes to hard mode. So this is going to be a big one. Let's strap in. First of all, new content. Visional Wheel goes live. The Visional Wheel is a mysterious multidimensional deviation. Its origin is unknown and it cannot be secured. Once activated, it warps reality across all dimensions, triggering a range of anomalous phenomena in each scenario. Scenarios affected by the Visional Wheel are known as Visional Scenarios and feature unique rules that can affect the survival, combat, and gameplay. These scenarios can be accessed via the sign-up system. Each Visional Wheel cycle lasts for approximately 3 months. At the end of each cycle, Visional Wheel will spin again, generating new anomalies. Visional Wheel SO, Lunar Oracle. Tag introduction. At dusk, a crimson moon will cast its anomalous light on the wilderness. Deviants will gain enhanced stats, while players experiencing falling sanity, which must be recovered by defeating enemies. Players also gain increased yield and special crate rewards when their HP is low. Lunar Oracle, Visional Scenarios for Manavis, Evolution's Call, Prism vs. Clash, The Way of Winter will be available. They are marked by the corresponding tags under the season tags at the scenario screen. Period of January 16th to April 24th. Key update schedule. January 16th. All Visional Scenarios are open for registration. Lunar Oracle goes live. February 13th. SO exclusive event Crimson Moon begins. Don't miss the chance to get exclusive skins. March 13th. Lunar Oracle gameplay is upgraded as a mysterious shadow appears. Lunar Oracle effects. Lunacy. And so this is the big one for this season of the Lunar Oracle. When outside your territory, lunacy causes you to steadily lose sanity, down to a minimum of 20%. It also greatly reduces your sanity recovery rate, requiring you to defeat enemies to recover sanity. However, lunacy also grants you a resource acquisition buff that grows stronger as your HP falls. So it's a big high risk, high reward, and you're going to need to be very offensive to stay alive and not die and lose the things that you're gathering. During a Lunar Oracle, you can earn Lunar Whispers by defeating enemies and participating in various game modes. When you have lunacy, the lower your HP, the more Lunar Whispers you will obtain. Very high risk, very high reward. Lunar Whispers are time limited and must be used before they expire. If you die, the Crimson Moon will grant you a blessing that protects you from lunacy during the current Lunar Oracle. You will also lose a certain quantity of Lunar Whispers based on your sanity level at the time of death. The lower your sanity, the more Lunar Whispers you lose. When infected with lunacy, you'll be able to see the world's true form, allowing you to discover hidden oracle crates in settlements and more deviated plants in the wilderness. However, gathering resources in the wilderness will carry the chance of triggering deviant attacks. Wilderness changes. During a Lunar Oracle, deviants in the wilderness will go berserk, growing more aggressive and dealing increased damage. Unique elite enemies will also appear in settlements. Interesting. Missed that part the first time I read this in the last update. So in the settlements, so the towns where you have the friendly NPCs are going to appear as well. Interesting. Oracle crates will appear in settlements and can be unlocked. I'm reading this now. Settlements. So the unique enemies are not in the friendly. It's any of the hostile settlements. My mistake. Oracle crates will appear in settlements and can be unlocked by using Lunar Whispers. These crates come in different grades, each requiring a different amount of Lunar Whispers to open. Inside, you'll find exclusive formulas that will significantly enhance your abilities. Oracle crates also contain mods with the lunar suffix, which are things that you can only get in these lunar scenarios. Lunar animal skills, unique animals, and Lunar Oracle morphed deviations. So a lot of very special rewards that you can't get unless you're playing on these special hard modes. In response to the threat posed by Lunar Oracle deviations, you can enhance your abilities by mixing and matching gear, mods, deviations, dishes, and medicine of different Lunar Oracle genres. Interesting. If the Prime War or Stronghold contest is started during a Lunar Oracle, and this is a big thing, the game mode will also be affected by the anomalous vision and lunacy. If a Chaos Weaver descends during a Lunar Oracle, the region will be affected by both the Lunar Oracle and the blizzard or volcanic storm. So, before this, you weren't able to really, by my understanding, not much changed with the Prime Wars and the Chaos Weavers. But now you can basically turn those up to hard mode with these Lunar Oracle situations. It's going to be a certain part of game time, which corresponds to, I believe it's about 15 minutes of real lifetime. So 15 minutes of every hour, you can spawn in these hard mode Prime Wars, Chaos Weavers, elite enemies at the settlements, and the special crates. If the, I believe I already, read that. All right. Visional scenarios will go live after January 16th update. Accordingly, no ordinary scenarios without Lunar Oracle will be available at the same time. Please select accordingly. Scenario arrangement. Since the current tags for hard difficulty scenarios offer a somewhat repetitive experience, they did, the original hard modes will be discontinued following the launch of visional scenarios. To cater to players who find visional scenarios too challenging, regular scenarios of each type will continue to be available. And the other thing about this is, I mean, you kind of don't have to opt into the hard mode. When you're in the hard mode, you can sort of opt in, opt out. When you die, you won't be affected by the lunacy anymore. So it's this kind of nice thing of like, do you want to participate in the hard mode? Do you not want to participate in the hard mode? And if you do, the hard mode seems like it's going to be a lot harder, give you a lot more rewards for that difficulty. For details on the visional scenario servers, refer to the January 16th opening scenario update here. To ensure that everyone can choose the game mode that is most suitable for them, we will remove the CD for scenario exit, so that's a cooldown, and give everyone a free scenario exit card. Now, I don't know about you guys. I made the mistake of exiting before this update went live. I thought you could pre-register for them, which you cannot. They only went live as of the 16th. So it'll be interesting to see if you used a card before then, if it resets the cooldown or not. New gear, and this is really cool. I must have this in my life. The Critical Pulse crossbow that triggers consecutive power surges to generate orb lightning pulses. So basically an AoE crossbow. Oh yeah, sign me up for sure. Primal Rage. Transform your HP into ammunition, and I believe as your health gets lower, the more damage you will do. Hazardous Object. This one's a little interesting. It seems like it's basically the gun is a grenade. I'd have to test it out. But make everything go boom with this explosive pistol. So you can see there he's throwing it at the ground, and there's the arc of a grenade or a throwable item that we would see. This is where it's going to arc the landing space. So that's a much different weapon type than we've had before. And these are only, my understanding, available in the hard mode Lunar Oracle scenarios. So a lot more incentive to run the hard modes. Now the new armors, there's some really nice ones in here. Unique Armor Overloaded Pants. Temporarily gain unlimited ammunition after dealing power surge damage a number of times. I would assume that means that as you fire during this unlimited ammunition stage, your mag will not go down. If that's not the case, it's a little weird. I mean, I guess it saves you some ammunition, But if it is essentially an infinite mag and the shots fired don't count, that's going to really boost your mag size if it works that way. This is the one that I really want to try the most, though, is the Unique Armor Charmed Mag Top. I've been wanting to try a Fast Gunner build, and when in Fast Gunner status, you have a chance of firing extra bullets per shot. The less ammunition in your current magazine, the higher the chance. So that's going to be really interesting. I mean, I've never really loved Fast Gunner so far. I've been wanting to try it again, but it'd be really interesting to see how high this chance is and going to be upping your DPS significantly or not. Last unique armor is the Viper Mask. Greatly increases the range of Unstable Bomber, which also deals increased damage proportional to its range. Set, new set. This is a nice one. Treacherous Tides set. 1 piece, weapon damage reduction. 2 pieces, when your HP is below 70%, you gain a buff to weapon and status damage. And I'm not sure, but I would assume that that also, as your health goes down from loss of sanity, then I would think that that would proc that there too. 3 pieces, reduces the effect of sanity on max HP. It's going to be really interesting to see what exactly that means. Does that mean that, say you would normally take 10 sanity damage, you only take 5? Is it going to be 9? Is it going to work entirely differently? This set is really interesting, and I definitely want to give it a shot and find out how significant this ends up being. All right, and then finally, the 4-piece set, gain a shield when your HP is low. We'll see if that actually works. I feel like there's been other things in the game so far that are supposed to generate a shield. I don't know that I've ever noticed it, so it'll be interesting to see how substantial that is. But all around, a very nice survival set to help you survive in this new hard difficulty. New mods. Helmet mods. Weapon Symphony. Weapon Symphony. Weapon Symphony. After switching weapons, you receive a boost to fire rate and weapon damage. The effect weakens over time. Pretty interesting. Quick Toss. After using a throwable, grants a fire rate buff and replenishes the magazine of the last weapon held. So I would assume there's got to be some cooldown. They don't mention it, but if you can just throw, reload, that's going to get a little ridiculous for certain weapons. It'll be interesting to see, but I'm really liking all of these things that are increasing fire rate to give you this burst of damage when you're, oh shoot moments, when the enemies are coming at you and you need it. So going to be really interesting to see how substantial all that is. Top mods. Ardent Shield. When shielded, you gain additional damage reduction, and single instances of damage will not penetrate the shield. The translation on that, I'm not sure how good that is. I would think that means that you could take 1,000,000 damage in one shot and it would at most deplete the shield and not hit your health. That's how I'm reading it. I don't think that's how that's going to actually end up working. That would be a little ridiculous, but we'll end up seeing. Pants mods. Elemental Resonance. Grants the next magazine an elemental damage buff based on the amount of elemental damage dealt by the previous magazine. So our KVD Boom fans are going to really like this. Extra elemental damage on reloads. Plus, you take that helmet mod, throw, I would assume that procs the reload for that top mod as well. Going to be interesting. I'm sorry, Pants mod is the Elemental Resonance. Critical Surge, still on Pants. Critical Surge gains a stackable crit damage buff upon reloading from an empty magazine. So that's going to be big for shrapnel builds, I would assume. Shoes mods. Against all odds, gain a stackable weapon and status damage buff upon receiving damage. Doesn't say it, no, it does say it stacks, so it'll be interesting to see how much. If you're constantly getting hit by stuff, which is what I tend to do, that could be very substantial. Power of Striving. Upon expending stamina, gain a weapon and status damage buff. Again, going for our KVD Boom fans, and I mean, really any status damage, but I'm a big fan of, obviously, it's so strong right now. So that's going to be good for that. The lower your stamina, the stronger the buff. It almost makes me wonder if it wouldn't be worth doing something like purposefully carrying a lot so your stamina drains faster, or finding some ways to purposely get your stamina to drop quickly to get that stamina buff. I mean, that damage buff on low stamina. Don't know if then that means you're going to have less mobility and harder to survive, as that's going to be worth it. We'll see. All right, Lunar Oracle Suffix mods. So these are the ones that are unique to just this scenario. You can't get these, my understanding, outside of the lunar scenarios. In scenarios with the Blood Moon tag, you can find Lunar Oracle crates containing mods with unique suffixes in the wilderness. Applicable mods are Helmet and Top. Suffix effect. As your HP falls, again, I'm assuming that that includes your sanity lowering your health, you gain crit damage, elemental damage, weapon damage, and status damage buffs. So that's going to be really nice if it's working the way I'm assuming it will. New seasonal Cradle effect. Cradle override preview. In row 1, resilience. When your sanity is below 30%, damage received from deviants is reduced by 30%. Now, I would think when your sanity is below, this is where sanity always gets a little confusing to me. Does that mean that you have less than your bar 30% full with sanity, or over that? I'm not 100% sure. I would assume it's the latter. The lower your sanity, you get that debuff, but I'll have to test and find out. Rapid Aid. Medicine usage cooldown minus 30%. When HP is below 40%, medicine usage speed plus 30%, and medicine healing effect plus 15. In row 2, Energy Surge. Every 8 seconds at night from 9 to 3 a.m., and this is the game time. 9 to 3 a.m. is when all of these Lunar Oracle effects are going to be in the game, and I think that's somewhere around like the last 10 minutes of the hour. I haven't clocked it exactly, and it runs a little bit into the new hour, I believe. I'll have to get the exacts on when exactly this is, but every 8 seconds at night, your deviations recover 1 deviant power, so you're going to be able to get them up a lot faster. Chaotic Thoughts. When you have a whim due to low sanity, so, okay, low sanity, when your sanity is below 30%. So I would assume that, yes, this means back up here, when you have a lost health due to sanity, you will get this reduction, because when you have a ton of sanity damage lowering your health, that's when you tend to get these whim effects, basically like mutations that give you different effects. When you have a whim due to low sanity, damage reduction against deviants plus 10%, and damage against deviants plus 10%. In row 3, we've got Marked Strike. Weak spot damage plus 20% against targets marked with the bullseye. Robust. When you perform a light attack, melee damage plus 5%. When you perform a heavy attack, melee damage plus 10%. Each effect stacks up to 25% and lasts for 8 seconds. I've been seeing a lot of things in here that make it seem like they want to push the melee builds, which I'm all for. I've never tried one because it seems really scary. I would much rather have distance. But if it's going to work out, and especially get you kills faster because you just mow through with melees, it could be pretty good in the Lunar Oracle. Got to kill to get that health back, sanity back. So we'll see. Bounce Rampage. After triggering a bounce damage plus 5% for 15 seconds, stacks up to 5 stacks. And I saw later on, when they mentioned the change to weapons, it seems like they're really trying to improve bounce damage. I mean, this is a really big 25% buff, so we'll see. Explosive bonus. After triggering unstable bomber damage plus 5% for 8 seconds, stacks up to 5 times. And finally, in row 5, Fast Pursuit. Upon triggering Fast Gunner, gain one of the following effects at random: attack plus 3%, crit rate plus 3%, or crit damage plus 8% for 12 seconds. Up to 5 stacks. Effect is removed after switching weapons. I'd be interested to know, can you have separate buffs of the attacks plus 3, the crit plus 3, and depending on how quickly you're triggering, is it possible to have like more than one of these above a total of 5 stacks? Got to test it and find out. And this is another thing I was mentioning earlier, Brawl Boost. After dealing melee damage, gain damage reduction plus 5% and roll speed plus 5% for 6 seconds, up to 5 stacks. So right here, you perform, you get the damage, each effect when you perform heavy attack. So you're getting the damage from this one, and here you can get up to a 25% damage reduction from doing melee. I would assume if it's additive, does that mean that's 55% with this resilience up here? All right. Cradle Override Preview. In row 1, these are all of your pretty standard. I'm not going to go ahead and read this, but anti-coherence is pistols, light machine guns, and melee. Anti-void is rifle, shotguns, and heavy weapons. Anti-phase is sniper, SMG, and crossbow. And so these are all, they give the buffs, and if you've never tried a hard mode before, there are certain unique enemies. They used to be morphic crates. We'll see what they end up being in the lunar cycle. But these unique enemies would have a buff. You'd need to break them. Much like if you've ever played Destiny 2, the champions, you need a certain weapon to break the champions. Here you need to have certain weapons to break these effects. In row 2, Tactical Combo. Weapon damage plus 15% for 4 seconds after switching weapons or reloading. Status Enhancement. Status damage plus 15% for 3 seconds after hitting a weak spot. Deviant Energy Defense. Summoning or handling deviations. Grants a shield equal to 30% of max HP. And this is the one that I was talking about earlier. I've tried this before, and for whatever reason, I don't know if it was bugged, but it wouldn't work for me, or I just never noticed the shield. So that's why hopefully it works now. Maybe it was just me, and that other shield effects that were mentioned earlier, if those are all working properly now, that's a lot of really cool things. But shield equal to 30% of max HP. While the shield is active, weapon damage reduction and status damage reduction plus 10%. Cooldown 30 seconds. In row 3, Deadly Combo. After triggering bullet effects, bounce and shrapnel, bullet effect damage plus 25% for 4 seconds. Elemental Sense. After dealing elemental damage, the corresponding element's damage plus 25% for 4 seconds. Steady Hand. When you have a buff, for example, Fortress Warfare, Fast Gunner, weapon damage plus 10% and weak spot plus 25. Extreme Freezing. When dealing frost elemental damage, frost vortex damage plus 2.5% and inflict deviance with 3% slowdown. I never noticed that being in effect before. For 8 seconds, stacks up to 10 stacks. So that's 25% damage and a 30% slowdown. So especially when these enemies are going to be stronger for us in the lunar scenario, A slow would go a long way to keeping you alive and not losing your whims. Freezing targets when fully stacked up to 1 time per target. So, wow, so it freezes them. Doesn't say how long when you hit that max stacks, but it also doesn't seem that you can constantly freeze them. I'm wondering if there's a cooldown, if you have to switch targets in order to do it again. I can't imagine it's permanently never going to freeze them again, but it doesn't go into much detail there. Blazing Detonation. When inflicting burn on a unit that already has burn, immediately deal 1 instance of burn damage, cooldown 3 seconds, and gain burn damage plus 25% for 15 seconds. I mean, there's a lot of elemental damage in what they're adding in here, and KVD was already so strong. I mean, it feels like they're going to make it stronger almost, but we'll see. There are some weapon changes at the end of this. Still in row 4, Invincible Strike. After dealing weak spot damage, shrapnel damage plus 2.5%, and shrapnel crit damage plus 3.5% for 6 seconds, stacks up to 10 stacks. When fully stacked, shrapnel damage loss due to distance minus 50%. So you're going to be able to range things a lot more. In row 5, Heavy Strike, Fortress Warfare range plus 50%. After activating Fortress Warfare, weapon damage plus 25% for 8 seconds. Effect is removed after switching weapons. Transient Impact. Upon dealing Power Surge damage, grants Power Surge damage plus 2.5% for 6 seconds up to 10 stacks. And finally, Bounty Hunter. Attack plus 2% upon initially marking a target, and weak spot damage plus 5% upon renewing the mark for 8 seconds, up to 5 stacks. Initially marking is 2%, and weak spot upon renewing, so is that 27 total, the 2 plus 5 times 5? I'm not entirely sure. Combat Environment Tags. Combat Environment Tags are updated to Void, Coherence, Phase. Void deviants start with a shield that reduces most damage effects. Countermeasure. So these are the types of weapons that I mentioned earlier. Crater Override, Anti-Void, Unstable Bomber damage, or those anti-void weapons mentioned above. So that, Unstable Bomber damage, or Power Surge damage. Coherence deviants carry a coherence device. While the device is intact, coherence deviants are invincible. Countermeasures are specific override weapons, anti-coherence, bounce damage, and damage while in the fast gunner state, or damage while in the bullseye state. So they're invincible, but I guess you can still mark them with the bullseye debuff even if you're not doing any damage with the shot. Phase deviants have high damage reduction. Countermeasures, Cradle Override Anti-Phase, shrapnel damage, or damage while in Fortress Warfare. So it gives you a lot of different options. You can have multiple weapons that can fill more than one role of these, depending on what status effects, keywords they have, and what weapon type they are. You might be able to get a 2-for-1, so plan accordingly. New deviation. This is going to be an interesting one. Wishbox. Wishbox is a special territory deviation. By placing it in isolated securement unit, you can find it in the territory. Wishbox has a separate storage space that transforms any item placed inside into something else at every hour. See the wonders that Wishbox can perform. Wishbox can be purchased at the Stellar Planula shop or obtained by Morphic crates. Take note that only the owner can interact with the Wishbox, so you can't have friends helping you or using your friends' deviants. When the wish box is discarded, any item stored inside will be cleared. Now, the wish machine, so this wish machine, that's your normal wish machine. The Wishbox Deviants, they give no explanation what you get out of him for the items he transforms. So this is going to be all new. We're going to have to get a lot of people reporting information to find out what that does. But the Wish Machine prize pool, new pools. After the update on January 16th, new Wish Machine prize pools will be available for 3 weeks. Critical Power Surge includes the legendary weapon blueprint Critical Pulse. That's the crossbow. Contradictory Shrapnel includes the legendary weapon blueprint Conflicting Memories. Overload Power Surge includes legendary gear blueprints Overload Pants, Blackstone Gloves, and Blackstone Mask. Now, unfortunately, the one that I was looking at was down here, not going to be introduced to January 30th. And January 30th afternoon, additional new Wish Machine prize pools will be available for 3 weeks, including Raging Barrel, includes the legendary weapon Blueprint Primal Rage. Tranquil Frost includes the legendary weapon Blueprint Silent Anabasis. And Magic Gunslinger, this is the one with the legendary gear Blueprint Charmed Mag. That's the one that's going to give you a lot of extra ammo. So, gotta wait for it. Also, gotta wait for these Treacherous Tide helmet, pants, and shoes to be part of the Wish Pool. You can always, I would assume, buy them directly from the Wish Machine. And so you don't have to wait, but it is better bang for your buck generally if you know you're going to get these out of the prize pool. So it also depends on, do you need shards for upgrading blueprints? Gender conversion. Build a floor mirror in your territory and interact with it. Enter the character selection screen and choose other genders in the top left corner. Add item metamorphosis token for the change to take effect. Metamorphosis tokens are available at the shop at 1 energy link. New shop arrivals. Spring Festival Carnival. Get ready for many surprises, including Lightforge gem rate up and 20% higher draw probability. New functional items. Gender change items metamorphosis token is now available under other items in the shop. You can purchase one at the price of 1 energy link. This redemption is limited to 1 per account. Alternatively, you can get more metamorphosis tokens using Christogens. Lightforge Loot Crates, Frost Shadow, available from January 17th, 10 a.m. server time. The Crimson Moon, the Serpent Lies in Wait. Lightforge Crate, Time Limited, Frost Shade, Legendary Collection, Vehicle Skin, Tidal Hunt. Legendary Character Set, Cambrian Nightfall. Set, Legendary Weapon Skin, Night Breaker, MG4. Legendary Furniture, Starry Cloud Bed. Legendary Territory Collectibles, Abyssal Teardrop, and Epic Collection Theme Pack, Sea and Butterfly. Crazy Limited Spring Festival Loot Crate Promotion. Get Lightforge gem rate up and 20% higher draw probability for Lightforge loot crates. Lightforge Loot Crate. Hype Dino will be removed from sale on January 16th, so if you're watching this, it's gone. 6 a.m. server time. Lightforge Loot Crate Pyroglide returns from January 27th, 10 a.m. server time. Embrace the Eternal Flames and Sword of Freedom. Lightforge Loot Crate. Pyroglide makes limited return with Legendary Vehicle Skin Pyroglide, Legendary Character Set Psychedelic Skull Set, Epic Weapon Skin Primordial Flame, Cam Epic Collection Skin Primordial Flame Heavy Weapon, and Epic Collection Territory Collectibles Constellation Light. Very nice, very nice. New shop arrivals. Rare Territory Pack Rocky Fun Collection and Rare Fashion Set Gale Bolt are available after the January 16th version update. There are many other Spring Festival themed items for you to choose. Next week, January 23rd, Epic Collection Fashion Set Party Icon, Epic Collection Theme Pack Wild Feast, Epic Material Pack Florivox Cabin, and Epic Weapon Skin Bundle Injection Attack will be available. Find more information on skin releases at the shop. Subsequently to January 30th, Epic Fashion Set Snowbound Chic, Epic Theme Pack Overlimit, Rare Furniture Pack Sunlit Bliss Bedroom, and Rare Facility Skin Bundle Loamy Soil Spring Soil will be available. Find more information on skin releases at the shop. Here's the base. On February 6th, Fashion Set Heatstorm, Epic Theme Pack Fiery Youth, Fine Wallpaper Pack Dreamland Wallpaper Bundle, Rare Facility Skin Bundle Weapon Rack, Trend Collection, and Weapon Skin Bundle Injection Attack will be available. This is a pretty nice territory, the pool and the tiles. Interesting. It's nice. Spring Festival event. The Spring Festival is just around the corner, bringing many events and gifts. Unlock over 10 cosmetic and furniture items, 2 exclusive deviations, and 3 Spring Festival recipes, all for free. There are also more than 10,000 star chroms waiting to be earned. Gather your friends and embark on the moonlit journey. Event period January 16th to February 23rd. Highlights. Go to the Spring's invitation. Log in every week to earn cosmetics. Unlock Spring Festival dishes to bring you good luck on your journeys. Wild Wish Party. Wishland Party Island has a festive new look for the Spring Festival. Eternal Land Carnival crates are back. So I believe those are the crates that you can find in Eternal Land. Plus a new challenging carnival parkour event. Will be interesting to see what that is. Wacky Racing. Spring is a season for laughter and travel under the influence of the Lunar Oracle. Vehicles in the event seem to move even faster. Or is it because you're just under the influence? Gather your friends and embark on open world racing spree. Lunar Oracle Dungeon Challenge. Get a quick taster of combat under the influence of the Lunar Oracle. Spring Festival Lucky Painting. Collect Spring Festival themed outfits to unlock the Spring's New Year's painting. Decorate your home and get a Spring Festival lucky bag. Daily gifts. Starting on the first day of Spring Festival, a new gift unlocks each day, leading up to a grand gift on the day of the Lantern Festival. Invite your friends to join and claim them together. Optimization balance adjustments. So this is where everyone's gonna be interested, whether or not you are doing hard modes. This affects everything. Bounce. I don't know what this slash means. Just fixed an issue where bounce attacks would target friendly units by default. So not going to be great for your damage if you're only hitting friendly units. So changing up that it will hit hostiles more frequently too. Tactical combat boots. Change the ammunition replenishment rate to 1 bullet per second. Kumawink used to do a 25% chance to trigger on AoE bounce on hit. Doesn't look like that's changed. What looks like what's changing is that bounce hits always trigger a rebound, and the 100% bounce damage will now be 75% damage. So a nerf on Kumawink, I believe. Unless that 75% means this one here, in which case it is a massive buff. We'll have to test and find out. Precision bounce. Used to read triggering bounce 6 times. The next bullet's bounce is 50% damage, plus 50. Now it is plus 125%. Pyro Dino. Explosion damage plus 300% is the old description. Now, explosion damage plus 240, so a slight nerf there. Note, Deviation's attack is determined by the player's psi intensity, and the damage of Pyro Dino level 5 is 1,200% psi intensity. So I'm wondering, is it 242 1,200? So it actually is lower at the start and scales more? I'm not sure. Brahmini, 60% chance to trigger bounce on hit, now a 75%. The damage is unchanged, and I'm sorry, deal 30, yeah, unchanged. The bounce addition is unchanged. Looks like everything else unchanged. So just the deal 60% chance is now 75%. Little Jaws. Unstable Bomber is guaranteed to trigger hit on cooldown, so that's unchanged, 0.9 seconds. 40% still unchanged. Delay of 0.2 unchanged. Looks like the 20% is unchanged, but what is changed is a little buff. The Unstable Bomber damage plus 10% is now plus 15%. Predator. The 40% chance unchanged. Whenever you enter Fast Gunner stacks of 5 unchanged. Unlimited ammo for 0.5 seconds unchanged. Hitting the same target 2% up to 40. This is changed. It is still 2%, but it's capped out at 60% now. Stabs, it used to read that effects reset when switching targets, and now stacks are only halved when the target is changed. So that's massive buffs on the Predator there, like 20% on the damage, plus you have a lot more freedom to change weapons. Let's see, 40%, 50% also unchanged. And Conflicting Memories, shrapnel targets every 12 hits. It's the same thing now. They just added that it's a 30% reduction against players, so a nerf in PvP. For every 40 magazine size is now every 32, so that's a buff. Shrapnel trigger parts +1, unchanged, but it used to be +4 at max, now it is +5 at max. So that's a good buff. When magazine exceeds 90 bullets, that's unchanged, every 15. Extra, also unchanged. The damage, 10% unchanged, and magazine extra size +40, also unchanged. So just the number of bullets in the magazine required and the PvP nerf. Movement speed adjustments, bug fixes. Fixed an issue where eating Stardust Ratatouille would let players exceed the maximum movement speed. Fixed an issue where the actual roll speed bonus of Golden Wool was between 30% and 100%, causing players' roll speed to become too fast. We have also increased the roll speed bonus of Golden Wool to between 10% to 25%. Effect adjustments. Fixed an issue where Stardust Corn Ale's movement speed buff was only affecting jump height. That's nice. It now will increase the sprint speed by 20%. I believe that's what it was supposed to do, and now it actually will. Change the effects of snow trekking gear and enhanced snow trekking gear to no longer stack. So more effects with one, can't stack them. Stat display and maximum adjustments. Added the display of sprint speed and roll speed bonuses to the stats panel. So when you inspect your character, you'll be able to see the increased maximum movement speed bonus from 20 to 30%, increases the maximum sprint speed bonus from 20% to 40%. So you're going to be moving 10% faster by default, 20% faster when sprinting. However, your roll speed bonus is down from 100% to 60%. Movement speed guide. Movement speed bonuses apply to all movement speed states. Sprint speed bonuses apply when sprinting. Rolling speed is partly based on your current movement speed. Roll speed increases your initial speed when rolling. So it seems like maybe not actually a nerf. If you are moving faster, maybe the increased movement speed affecting your roll is going to offset that 100 to 60% roll speed. We'll see. Arrow leap adjustments. fixed an issue where your movement speed would become too fast after dashing with arrow leap due to frame rate. You can now hold the roll button to increase arrow leap's dash distance by expending stamina. Developer notes: we have heard your concerns on long-standing issues that have yet to be resolved. We take your feedback seriously and have conducted an internal review. I will say, coming off of Destiny, I feel like they have their money where their mouth is compared to what Bungie would say versus what they would do. Moving forward, we will fix combat-related bugs. Not saying that everything's perfect. I mean, it is a free-to-play game funded entirely by skins and cosmetics kind of stuff, so it's also new-ish. But I mean, honestly, I feel really good about the amount of feedback that they take into consideration. We will fix combat-related bugs more promptly and ensure timely communication with players through regular announcements, and they do a lot. We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience caused. Previously, due to our development schedule and processes, we required some time to address issues reported by players, and we only made announcement after issues had been resolved. We acknowledge that this may have caused communication delays. From now on, we will include information about identified and confirmed issues in our regular announcements, so you won't think you're crazy. If you see a bug, they'll tell you, no, that's a known thing. It's actually happening and we're working on it, even if they have not yet been fixed. Nice, I like that. I would like to know what the bugs are if they're aware of them. We have also heard your concerns about spending time and resources on certain items only for them to get nerfed. Happens in a lot of games. We understand and appreciate the effort you have put into your builds. Moving forward, we will exercise greater caution with balance adjustments, especially for items that require significant time investment. Your responses to the recent co-dev update showed us how much you care about balance adjustments. In the future, we will communicate more effectively with players to share the logic and reasoning behind any adjustments made. Teleportation. Teleporting back to a campsite, your territory, or a teammate's territory now share a unified cooldown timer. That seems like it's unfortunate, if I'm understanding the definition of that. Added a new item, anti-blockage capsule. When used, it resets. Not upset anymore. It resets the cooldown for teleporting back to a campsite, your territory, or a teammate's territory, allowing for immediate teleportation. This item has a chance of being found in medicine boxes in the wilderness. This is big. I cannot state how annoying it is to have a teleportation cooldown. I frankly would log out of the game, go to the bathroom, get some water. So now I won't have to do that unless I really want to and I'm not just killing time. The cooldown for teleporting back to campsite, your territory, or a teammate's territory will now be reset after taking part in public crisis events. Interesting. Including Where Does Disco Go?, The Dark Side, Dig to Hell, Paradise Lost, Operation Kieran, Fatal Signal, Battleship Blockade, Fishing, and Close Encounter Dakini. So it seems like we're putting this all on one cooldown timer, so you can't teleport to multiple places on separate cooldowns, but in exchange, we're going to give you a lot more ways to reset the timer, which I like. Added a prompt for when player gets stuck in the Foundation due to network or loading issues after teleporting back to their territory. The player's position will also automatically be corrected once the loading is complete. Social feature optimize. Enable chat between strangers. Added a trade message filter to the world chat channel. That's very nice because I don't want to see that in the world if I'm not looking for it, or if you are looking for something, you want to be able to find it more easily. I would love them to do an auction house similar to World of Warcraft, but I also understand there are concerns that that would introduce pay to win because of out of game real money exchanges for things. So what are you going to do? Enabled the filter to collapse and trade messages and keep your chat box distraction free. Cosmetics. Optimize the soft body physics of fashion items. Change the standing pose of female characters on the character screen and in the wilderness. Change the appearance and physics of the basic female character model's chest. There's a lot of attention being put on those resources. Optimize characters. Yes, I am 13 years old. Character standing poses and some interactive animations in the territory. Change character lighting in the wilderness, including, sorry, I'm still laughing, including indoor, outdoor, and low light environments to improve character appearance. Stocking fashion items, Nighttime Rose, Sailor Spirit, Star of Tomorrow, Combat Medic, Frosty Glory. Now cover the feet when the character is barefoot, or wearing footwear that partially reveals the feet. Optimize the preview images of stickers and decals in the shop and Lightforge loot interfaces. Oof, almost there. Combat. Optimize the appearance of the quick switch ammo function. Optimize the display of the stats screen. Stats of the same category are now grouped under descriptive subheadings, making it easier to understand what each stat does. That's nice. I feel like there's a lot of, especially with new players, learning curve and misunderstandings about what things do. So that'll be really helpful. Wilderness. Optimize the display quality for some areas. Increase the damage of the laser gun's laser beam. Added turn signs to some roads. Okay. Optimize some paths in Wishland West. Optimize the lighting effects on the player character in the wilderness. Optimize the frequency of weather change alerts in each scenario. That's nice. I feel like it would go super crazy sometimes. Players can also manually set the alert frequency in the settings if you don't want it to go crazy. Adjusted the Chaos Weaver's drop mechanics. Drops can now be collected by moving within 50 meters after they appear. So that's going to help a lot. I feel like there was times where they would die and I couldn't find their body and I just wasted a ton of time. So now you should be able to loot them when you're close, but it'll be interesting how exactly that works because what are you interacting with? Unless it's an auto collect. Scenario. Optimize the server selection process. Optimize the scenario recommendations for returning players. The player sign up limit for each server will now be lifted after a certain number of days. Interesting. I don't know that that means that the cap for the server is going to change, just who can sign up in a certain period of time. Due to Evolution's Call Novice being too challenging for new players, it frankly was. Like, the game itself was super challenging and still is super challenging for new players because of the learning curve. But the novice difficulties, especially when you're starting out, is really easy. Manibus Novice being more suitable, showcasing the game's unique features better, we will discontinue the Evolution's Call Novice scenario starting January 16th. Interesting. So they're not changing how difficult it is. They're just getting rid of Evolution's Call and just keeping Manibus Novice. So you can still do Evolution's Call hard mode. Dungeons. This is going to be fun. Added a hidden loot crate to securement silos that can be opened with controllers. Get more bang out of your runs. And I mean, I know some people who have like a ton of time that aren't me use up all of their controllers every season, but I end up with like 100 every season because I don't have that time. So being able to use more and maybe more strategically, depending on what gives you the best drops, is a nice addition. Inside a securement silo, this mysterious deviations will keep spawning. Go find those deviations to defeat them to reveal a hidden loot crate containing mods, weapons, energy links, or Stardust source. I hope that it is revealed upon killing the last of those enemies in that group and not making you have to go find where you had killed the previous ones in the group. We'll see. Storage. And actually, looking at this crate, I'm noticing there's the floating wheelchair from the Dayton Hospital. So is the wheelchair the deviation that you got to kill? That'll be interesting. Storage. Optimize the item transfer process. When depositing items into the vault or space-time backpack, items with the lowest value will be replaced first. Not sure exactly what that means. The lowest weight values, I think they mean the lowest energy link value. Other. Adjusted the appearance of the Shadowhound shadow in the main story task. Players can now check deviation trait details in the backpack. That's going to be huge because I frankly find it a little frustrating to inspect deviations in the backpack currently. Increase the drops of temperature affecting facilities. Increase the drops. So I think that's the thermal towers. The glide key can now be customized separately, I assume from the spacebar. Optimize the download center screen. Change the location for using redemption codes to settings, account, redeem code. Bug fixes, public crisis event. Fix an issue where the player would fall underground when teleporting to the public crisis event. Dig to hell. Fix an issue where the Seed of Life would get stuck on some terrain types during cargo conquest. Yeah. Fix an issue where the public crisis event Surge of Fish would sometimes appear outside the scenario map in Prism vs. Clash. Cosmetics. Fix an issue where high-heeled shoes would sometimes become distorted and cause the character sitting pose to float in the air. Shop. Fix an issue where some items in the romantic Misty Purple Street building panel pack were displayed incorrectly in the shop. Ranching gameplay. Fixed an issue where lag when viewing ranched animals. Yeah. Territory. Fixed an issue with the load-bearing calculations when placing a water pump. Fix an issue where ceilings would sometimes leak water. Fix an issue. The permissions for fish tank interactions. Only friends with the storage permission can interact with the fish tank. Boss dungeon securement securement silos. Fix an issue where, after clearing a monolith, its map item icon would not change. That's nice. Other. Fix an issue causing visual effect errors. Fixed an issue where the player could become stuck on sulfur outcrops when inputting certain controls. Controller. Fixed an issue where a tip saying the building does not exist would appear when using a controller to apply a home decor cosmetic and pressing X. Fixed an issue where the claim all and backpack buttons would overlap when using a controller to interact with territory facilities. Deviation. Fixed an issue with incorrect deviation spawn descriptions in the Manibus scenario. Enemy. Fixed an issue where morphic loot crates would not drop loot crates after death. Vehicle. Fixed an issue where vehicles would suddenly explode. Fixed an issue where vehicles would not be dismounted after getting stuck on a rock wall, causing the game to jam. Hopefully you like this. Please subscribe, and I will make a point of doing all of these version updates so you can just listen to my beautiful voice. Yeah, just kidding. But at least you don't have to read it. Thanks so much for watching.